What's up, you guys? My name is Daniel, and here on this channel we talk about stock market investing. And in today's episode, I've got a big mistake that I just made that I'm going to share with you guys. And today's video is actually sponsored by Skillshare. So later on we'll talk a bit more about Skillshare, but let's get into the meat of this video. Typically, YouTubers out there like to always talk about their best investments, but rarely do they talk about their mistakes. And no one really knows what's going to happen in the market, and we all make mistakes as investors. Even as YouTubers who claim they have so much success, like I had a portfolio that returned like 300%, and people like Jeremy on financial education. But the reality is, no one knows what's going to happen in the market, and the best thing that you can do is do your research, have a thesis when you go in, and when you put your money in there, hope that it plays out. But it doesn't happen all the time. So here's where my story began. So the other week, I saw that Wall Street Bets was really pumping up GameStop. And then the next stock on this list was BlackBerry. GameStop already had an incredible run after this one guy posted screenshots for literally a year or two of his GameStop options as well as the shares that he owns. And at first people laughed at him, and then when GameStop started taking off because either Wall Street Bets people were buying into it or institutions were buying into it, his portfolio continued to balloon and brought more attention to GameStop as a stock. And you could say that GameStop was sort of a meme stock and people were just buying into it because it could only go up. And this guy turned like $80,000 into 7.7 million today, which is absolutely insane. I think he probably posted another screenshot the other day, which I haven't checked yet, but it's probably worth around 9 million now. So with that said, this sort of sets the background as to why I started looking into BlackBerry and doing a short-term options play. I think that with Wall Street Bets, it's a fairly powerful force right now with all the retail investors out there on Robinhood, Webull, M1 Finance, or even on Wealthsimple Trade. There's a lot of chatter out there about BlackBerry, and everyone's just like, BlackBerry to the moon. And I thought to myself, maybe I can try to capitalize on this and do a short-term options play to see what would happen. Before we move on, let's talk a little bit about today's video sponsor. Skillshare offers thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people on topics including design, photography, freelancing, and yes, even finance. Classes on Skillshare include a combination of video lessons and a class project to help solidify the concepts. And members get unlimited access to thousands of inspiring classes, and most classes are under 60 minutes long. They're ad-free, and best of all, they get straight to the point. So I personally have been taking a course on storytelling and camera presence, which I have found very useful so far. These courses were between 20 and 40 minutes, get right to the point without rambling, and they have very actionable items that I can implement in my videos. The cost of Skillshare is very manageable, as it's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. The first 1,000 subscribers who click on the link in the description will get a free trial of premium membership. And this will allow you to explore your creativity side as well as pick up new skills that maybe you're trying to refine. So I decided on January 15th to purchase some January 22nd BlackBerry options with a strike price of $15. And at this day on January 15th, BlackBerry was trading around $10 per share. So this would mean that BlackBerry would have to gain 50% in one single week. However, with the forces of Wall Street Bets behind BlackBerry, I thought this was very possible, and at least maybe I could flip my options on Monday. However, things didn't play out as I expected, and BlackBerry didn't move up as quickly on Monday as I thought it would. And there were only short windows of times where I could actually have sold my options for a fairly significant gain. However, this is usually early in the day from 9:30 to 10 a.m. So I missed those opportunities and eventually was left holding the bag on these BlackBerry options, which expired worthless. Just for your information, I spent about $75 per contract, totaling $225 into this trade. And at one point, it actually went up to like $1.50 or $150 per contract. So I could have doubled my money. However, it wasn't significant enough that I was like, I should cash out now. And I think that's where my mistake was, not knowing where I want this trade to go and not setting some sort of stop limit. So I think that next time, if I'm going to make a short-term options trade, I should always have an exit strategy as to like a price target when I want to exit out, whether it's a 50% increase or a 100% increase. And also setting a stop loss would also be a wise thing. However, I think that the stop loss might or shouldn't be set until maybe closer to expiration, because options are very volatile. Usually they trade at a premium at the beginning of the market when all the day traders are in there, but as the day goes on, options contracts usually lose their value because there isn't as much trading activity going on later on the day because day traders are gone. So options typically thrive on volatility. When a stock has a lot of volume and swings in price, options go up. So I think next time, maybe buying options near the end of the day where premiums are a little bit lower, as well as setting a stop loss as well as a upper limit as to when I want this options contract to sell off is the strategy that I'm going to adopt going forwards. So that's pretty much the lesson that I learned from the short-term BlackBerry options play that I did. And going forwards, I may make a few more of these. And if you're interested in all my short-term options plays or just anything that I'm doing in the stock market, I have a Patreon group that you can sign up down below, which you'll get real-time buy and sell alerts for what I'm doing. That's pretty much the story of this mistake that I made the other day, and I just wanted to share that with you guys to show you that I'm not a perfect investor. I also make my fair share of mistakes, but hopefully I make less mistakes than actual successful trades out there. At the end of the day, it's all about learning and growing and making better trades going forwards down the road. And I also want to share with you guys my mistakes that I make as well so that you guys can learn from them. Because my goal is to create a community of investors where we can learn from one another. If you enjoy the transparency of this video, leave a thumbs up down below. As well as if you're new here, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in my next one.